Hello, this is Rocky, and I just want to say that we're going to have a very interesting blues talk today by the mad professor himself, Dr. Mo, otherwise known as David Moyar, who's coming to us from York, PA, and there he is now. Hey, Dr. Mo, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I got something in the way here. Um, okay, I got it. Oh, well, um, I want to do a blues talk tonight about a fella that I think was very influential in a lot of musicians, a lot of blues musicians, and I don't think that he really has been given the recognition that he deserves. A fellow by the name of Big Bill Broonzy. Um, what I plan to do is talk a bit about Big Bill, then play some of his songs to do examples of things that he did, and well, we'll see what happens. Big one thing I want to point out: I'm playing a guitar here tonight. I'll play this for one song. This is a very special guitar. This is a Washburn guitar from 1895. It was built in 1895. It was my great uncle Charlie's guitar. He gave it to me when I was in high school. Um, and it does not go out of the house very often. In fact, I can only think of two times that I took it out of the house for recordings. Um, but I thought I'd bring it on tonight because it would match with the time of Big Bill Broonzy. Big Bill, he was born, depending on who you listen to, either in 1893, 1898, or 1903. Now, the 1903 date just doesn't make sense because then he was in World War I in France in 1917. And I really doubt that a 14-year-old was in France in World War One. He was born, actually, Lee Conley Bradley. Um, and no one really knows how he took the name Big Bill Broonzy. Not that it really matters. He recorded under another number of names: Lee Broonzy, um, Bradley Lee, um, Big Bill Brony, and then Big Bill Broonzy. When he started off about 1920 playing violin, and was playing along with a fellow by the name of Papa Charlie Jackson in Arkansas. He quickly changed to guitar, and by the 1920s he had moved um, to guitar, was playing in minstrel shows, and is a much demand accompanist for other musicians. Part of the reason he was in such demand was that he played more than just blues. He could play ragtime, spirituals, the early jazz of the 1920s, and he was a very advanced finger picker and a very advanced uh, flat pick, single note type musician. As far as the people that he influenced, Muddy Waters, T-Bone Walker, uh, uh, well, Eric Clapton, obviously. Eric Clapton has recorded a number of his songs. Ray Davies of the Kinks has said that Bill Broonzy was a big influence on him with his guitar style, and along with Bert Jansch and Leo Kottke. So I'm going to start off with one of his early songs. This is called the Hokum Stomp. And when he would play this as a guitar piano duet. This is from, I think, 1924. He was playing with a fellow by the name of Georgia Tom Dorsey, who he played with quite a bit. Guitar piano duets were kind of popularized by Big Bill and Georgia Tom, and also Leroy Carr and Scrapper Blackwell. So this is called the Hokum Stomp. While they would play this, there would be a lot of banter back and forth between Big Bill and Georgia Tom, and I'm not going to go into all that because it was risque and humorous and fun, but I have to concentrate on just playing the guitar part because it's all I could do right now. So it goes like this. Now, one of the things that Big Bill brought into blues music, um, at the time that he played, he was a musician that would play on the street. Besides being a recording artist, he recorded for Bluebird, uh, Vocation, OK, Mercury, number of different labels. And his big break came in 1938. John Hammond was doing a concert at Carnegie Hall called Spirituals to Swing, and he was trying to get Robert Johnson to play for that. Unfortunately, Robert Johnson had been poisoned and died about 3 months before that. So he found Big Bill Broonzy, which is kind of odd because their styles were nowhere near each other. But it was a big break for Big Bill because that was the first time white audiences really got to hear him. And he was quite a hit. Interesting, he played on that performance with a piano player who later went on to be a great jazz piano player, Albert Ammons. The story goes that they played their duet. The piano was, Bill Broonzy was out in front of the stage, the piano was back further. The curtain closed and Bill found himself in front of the curtain as the curtain closed and was, embarrassed and upset, got himself off the stage, and it's debatable whether he realized or didn't realize he had another set to play later in the show, but he walked off the stage, walked out the back door, got a bus, and went home. He'd had enough. But that was where he really became a well-known musician. And if you noticed in that last song, there was a little break in there. It was going just from a C from a G7 to a C, G7 to C to the F, sort of like your standard blues. But then there was a break where it went to an E7, to an A7, to a D7, back to the G7, to the C. So it was in the key of C. That's what's called a 1-6-2-5 progression. And that was not typical in blues. In fact, it just was kind of unheard of in blues. But Bill, being the musician that he was, had played a lot of ragtime and decided to try and incorporate more progressive progressions into blues. So another one that he did, this is one of his earlier songs too, and I'm just going to play a little bit of it. This is called Scooter-Doo-Doo, and he referred to this as nothing but stupid hokum blues. And hokum blues was a style that relied a lot on humor and sexual innuendo in the song. And Bill kind of dismissed it, but it was popular, so he played it. And he goes, Mama said the Scoobaloo It's talking about the Scoobaloo-Doo. Mama said the Scoobaloo-Doo. But this morning about 4:30, somebody knocking on my back door. Must have been your sweet, sweet daddy talking about the Scoobaloo-Doo. Yeah, we're talking about the Scoobaloo-Doo. Mama said the Scoobaloo-Doo. Yeah, we're talking about the Scoobaloo-Doo. Baby with the Scoobaloo-Doo. Take a picket off of my back fence. Make the sentence till you get some sense now. Hear me talking and hear you talking. Talking about the Scoobaloo-Doo. Talking about the Scoobaloo-Doo. And again, he incorporates that 1625 in there. And that became kind of a hallmark of his music. He moved on. When he was in Chicago, he got tired of playing just the piano duets and actually playing acoustic guitar. He started playing electric guitar. In the 40s, he was inspired a bit by Louis Jordan and a guitar player for his band called Carl Hogan. They got together a lot and played. And Big Bill put together what kind of became the classic lineup for a Chicago blues band, which was 2 guitars, piano, bass, and drums. He would have Georgia Tom Dorsey, a number of other guitarists. Frank Broswell played on a lot of his stuff. Sometimes a female vocalist named Jane Lucas, and eventually Frank Frost became his drummer. And they tore it up in Chicago. They were a very big and unique thing. Nobody else was playing blues with a guitar-based band of 5 pieces. Muddy Waters said that Big Bill Brunsey was the inspiration for him putting together the bands that he did. Now, we all know, I want to give you a little example of how music changes. The song that Bill Brunsey wrote probably became one of his most famous was The Key to the Highway. Everybody knows it. Eric Clapton made a hit with it. And Eric Clapton played it like this, as we all know. I've got the key to the highway. I'm booked and bound to go. And keep on running. 'Cause walking's most too slow. All right, that's the version we're all familiar with. And my guess is that Eric Clapton got his version from listening to a Junior Wells version. The Junior Wells version went more like this. I got the key to the highway. I'm booked and bound to go. I got to keep here running. Walking's most too slow. If you notice in that, it's got the 1-6-2-5 changes, which would be E to a C sharp 7, to an F sharp, to a B, to an E. Eric Clapton didn't put that change in. However, the original by Big Bill Brunsey is even a little more complicated than that. He went, I got the key to the highway. I'm booked and bound to go. I got to leave here running. Walking's most too slow. Now what he did there was go, instead of going up to the B, he went to an E, to an E7, then an A, and actually often would do a diminished chord in it. Walk up like that, which was something that was just absolutely unheard of in blues music. It has since become kind of a standard thing. The 1-6-2-5 changes have also become a standard turnaround in blues. Like if you've got a song going, say, Here we go. Here's 1625. You often hear that as a turnaround. That was unheard of before Big Bill Broonzy. T-Bone Walker grabbed onto that and made a way of life with it. So Big Bill was playing in Chicago, doing well. Got to a point where in the 50s, later 50s, the whole blues folk revival caught on. And at that point, Pete Seeger and Studs Terkel. I mean, who would think? Pete Seeger and Studs Terkel. I don't know if you're familiar with Studs Terkel, who's a big writer in Chicago. Found Big Bill and put him on the circuit doing these folk blues revival things. And he got back to playing more slow, just straight ahead 1-4-5 blues. And he complained about it the whole time, but said, somebody's got to bring back the old style, because if I didn't, nobody else would. But a song that Big Bill did, actually I got to do two songs here that he did. In his life, he copyrighted over 350 songs. One that a lot of people have done, and again, it's a different version than how he did it, but a lot of people have done it. Who would have thought that this was a Big Bill Broonzy blues song originally? I'm going down the road feeling bad. Lord, I'm going down this road feeling bad. Now again, everybody else is used to a version that goes 1-4 and up to the D. He never goes to the D in this. He does the 1, the 4, then walks up. He's got to throw that ragtime thing in there. It was his thing, and it was just beautiful. It was what he did. In 1938, he wrote a song that did not make much of a dent then, but he regretted it because in 1954, some kids in Britain that were in a boarding school where there was the first time a black child was at this boarding school, got a hold of this song and taunted the black child in the school with it. The name of the song was Black, Brown, White. And he changed the 1625 change for this. Instead of going from doing majors the whole way through, he did it in G, so he did a G to an E minor. And the difference is like this. Here you hear G to the E minor. Here's the G to the E7. Gives it it's a little less straight. It's got a little more bluesiness to it. And this song was called Black, Brown, and White, and it goes like this. This little song I'm singing about, people, you know it's true. If you're black and you work for a living, this is what they'll do to you. They say if you're white, it's all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, oh brother, get back, get back, get back. I was in a joint one night, everybody was having fun. They was buying beer and wine, but they would not sell me none. They said if you're white, it's all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, oh brother, get back, get back, get back. Me and a man was working side by side. This is what it meant. They was paying him $1 an hour. They was paying me 50 cents. And they said, if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, you can stick around. If you're black, oh brother, get back, get back, get back. And there's more. I mean, I don't want to my time is limited here. I don't want to encroach on the other people, but you know, look that song up. Look up any song by Big Bill Broonzy. It's great stuff. Big Bill died in 1958 of throat cancer. One of the last songs that he wrote also became very popular. It was done by, well, everyone from Nina Simone to Dinah Washington, Paul Butterfield, to me. One of my favorite Big Bill Broonzy songs, and I'm just going to leave you with this. I've played it here before, but I just can't play this song enough. I think it's beautiful, and it shows just how sophisticated the blues can be. And I think if there's no other takeaway from my little talk here tonight, a feeling I have always had is a lot of people think of the blues as a primitive music written and performed by primitive people, uneducated, with no musical education and no comprehension of music theory. I think that not only is wrong, it's racist. It's a racist idea to think that blues music, which is primarily music from African Americans, could not be an intelligent music. And a lot of people, a lot of musicians I know fall into that trap. I've tried to talk music theory with people and they say, oh, no, I just got to play by feel. That's what my heroes did. And that's BS. And it really upsets me when I hear it. These people were geniuses. They blazed a trail musically. And I think people should realize that and pay more attention to it. So, this is my parting shot. This is Big Bill Broonzy's song, In the Dark, and I think this kind of epitomizes, I mean, without this song, there would be no, that song that Bonnie Raitt did, Guilty, a number of songs that have followed this pattern. And this was written before anybody else was doing it, and it goes like this. In the dark, there's just you and I. There's not one sound, there's not one sigh, just the beat of my poor heart. Lord, in the dark, in the dark, I get such a thrill when she puts her fingertips against my lips. Begs me, Daddy, please be still. Lord, in the dark, but soon this dance will be ended, and you're gonna be missed. Oh, gee, baby, I ain't pretending. I swear it's fun to be kissed in the dark. Now we may find everything that the rest have left behind. Just let them dance. We're gonna find romance, Lord, in the dark.
beautiful.
There's one more thing I want to point out there. In that song, there was one of the first blues songs that had a chorus. There's a verse and a chorus. A lot of blues songs just have the verse. And that was a big influence on Willie Dixon. If you notice a lot of his songs, and everybody knows Willie Dixon as a songwriter. If you don't, put your instrument away. He wrote a lot of songs that had a chorus in them. So I'd just like to suggest look up Big Bill Broonzy. He's a great songwriter. I only touched on the surface of his stuff. He was an amazing man. I've followed his career for a long time. I love his stuff, and I just wish more people appreciated him. Wish I could have met him, maybe someday. So thank you.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
your
Dr. Mo. That was really good. Very interesting, too.